Welcome to Realtor Therapy with Steph and Kel.
We're your hosts, Stephanie Campbell and Kelly Dugan, top producing agents with the Gold Group at Properties Christie's International.
With over $200 million in sales, we've seen it all. The wins, the losses, and the downright insane moments that come with being a realtor.
This podcast is your no BS, unfiltered look into the world of real estate.
Whether you're an agent needing a therapy session or looking to level up your game, we've got real stories, real problems, and real talk.
And hey, if you're a client, stick around. You might just pick up a few trade secrets.
Let's get into it. Hello.
What's up? Love and marriage. Love
First
and
podcast
marriage.
married for me.
I
Wow.
know. I'm really excited for her.
Bring
and
us
what
to
comes
her.
next?
We're going to do a fun topic today in honor of me being married. We're going to talk about pretty much like when you are buying a home with your significant other, like what are things to know about, title and mortgage when one of you guys are going on the mortgage or both of you on title, yada, yada. We're also going to, unfortunately, talk about the D word too.
What?
Yeah. I mean, not that
You're perverted.
I didn't even think about that. Divorce.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm like, dang, I know you just got married, but whoa.
Okay, I'm going to... I mean, we are trying, But I'm going to be consistent with this of asking you a viewer question to kick off our episode. I found one that was actually really good. Okay. So you have a buyer who's really, really scared of overpaying, but they really want to win in a multiple offer situation.
Ooh, okay.
How do you explain that math, basically? How do you make them feel financially
secure?
Yeah. Safe.
See how I closed my eyes and really thought about this? Because Kelly has accused me of not paying attention closely.
I can't really prep too much with Stephanie on what we're talking about on the podcast because the problem is the first time she hears it is the only time she'll hear it. And then if I repeat it for our listeners, as you're supposed to, in one ear out the other. So she had no idea I was asking this question.
I know, because you did a good job of not prepping me. Okay. So this is actually a common problem. People feeling like they're overpaying in multiple offer situations. And I think the best way to protect yourself is with an escalation clause, myself. Because I think oftentimes...
And what's an escalation clause?
Well, I'm going to tell you that.
Okay.
But I think oftentimes what happens is the real front runners pay a crazy amount over everybody else,
Yeah.
And I just think that, those people are the ones that's it's too much. It went too far, too crazy. I mean, you have an appraisal to protect yourself. So keep that in mind. You still have an appraisal that you have to get done in order to, the bank's not going to let you overpay that much, right?
Without you knowing about it, essentially.
Right. But the thing with the escalation clause, it's just for extra protection. Maybe you're going to pay $15,000 over, or a lot of it depends on price point, right? If you're buying a $3 million house, that's a little bit different than buying a $500,000 house. But what I often do is I pay a price over asking if it's a lot of people are competing for it. We look at the comps, what makes sense, right, based off those comps, and then you put the escalation clause in for good measure. The escalation clause means the way ours is worded, we reserve the right to pay X amount, whatever that amount is, over a competing offer. And again, a lot of this depends on price point, but I always tell my clients, make it an amount that makes the seller hard to resist leaving that extra dollar amount on the table. So don't just give $1,000 because that's goofy, right? If somebody's got a lot better terms than you, if somebody's putting 50% down and you're putting 20% down, they might leave that $1,000 on the table because that's not much, right? You want to make it sting a little bit, oh God, I'm not going to leave $5,000 on the table.
Right.
Again, depends on price point. Shoot, if you're in the higher price point, you might be given a $20,000 escalation clause or something. It just depends on price point.
Yeah, and where they're priced versus where the market says they should be priced. The way I like to go about it in the most simple way is I look at the comps first and just say a house is, let's say, listed for $500,000 And their situation is they price it aggressively, obviously, because they have multiple offers. Usually those are the houses that are going to get multiple offers, is when they're priced either perfectly or slightly below market value, in my opinion. Yeah. And what I'll do then is I'll look at the comps and I send to my clients, like, and they feel like, oh my God, I'm spending, $20,000 over list price, whatever it may be, where I'm like, well, what if they listed it at $525? Would you still be interested in coming to see this house? Like, these comps are showing that this house could be any bit between, $525 and $550. That's why there's multiple offers, because it's a little underpriced. So that's like my way of making them just feel like, even though the price tag says $500, I'm sorry, maybe you don't want to hear this, but it is worth more than that. And it's up to you to pay that or not. That doesn't necessarily mean you're overpaying. To me, that just means they priced it aggressively, right?
100%. And it's amazing. Sometimes with these houses, it's like, wow, that was a really good price.
Yes.
The
moment I have Zenless notifications for just like Lincoln Way area, and just from the initial like price and the front of the house, I could say right away, like, oh, that's going to fly.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay. But yeah.
I did have a client recently though that, it was quite sad. This doesn't happen often because I'm quite competitive, but, we lost multiple offers, and the agent told us essentially there was like nothing we could do. The seller we went to see it 3 hours before the best and final offer was due. The seller had already made up their mind prior to us getting there.
Oh, that's
they
worst.
They went with somebody. It was like we offered on a Sunday. The offer that they went with, they received on Thursday, and that's why there's some things. And again, why
even allow showings then?
I know. It was kind of BS, because like you should have just told us that we don't have good odds.
Well, or say like
I mean, I guess, but that the agent.
How transparent was the agent? Like, could you be like, what this offer that they've already mentally accepted? What could we do to beat it? She said nothing.
Well, no, we didn't find out about it until after they picked him. So like, again, I wish she would have said to me like, hey, just so you know, it's going to be really hard to beat that other offer. Because again, but she basically said there was no dollar amount, because this is the thing that you have to understand too, is like the early bird really does get the worm, because what happens is that seller felt so bad that they dragged somebody along since Thursday. For all we know, they gave the first offer first right of refusal on price, and they used all the other prices and went back to the first offer and let them have pick of the litter. You know what I mean? So
because they've already built like a mini, like, I don't want to say relationship, but like, I know when I submit an offer for my buyers in the beginning of the multiple offer situation, I'm checking in with that agent quite frequently, and like, you kind of build that relationship right 100%. Then and there.
Well, I don't the agent, I have a good rapport. I'll tell you who it is, but I genuinely think that like there was nothing we could have done, and that's like a gut punch.
Well, this happened to me like probably a month ago. I took my clients to see a house, and they wanted to put an offer, and I was so annoyed. I called the agent before I went there, because I had a feeling it was going to be a hot property. They listed it on, let's say, a Friday, and we were going to see it on Sunday, and I knew the area, I knew the price point, and I knew it was going to be competitive. So I remember calling him on my way to the showing. It was like a Sunday morning, and he didn't answer. So we went and we saw it. And so I texted him after our showing. I'm like, clients are super interested. We're talking offer terms. Do you have any offers or whatever? I said, hey, sorry. Yeah, actually, we just accepted one. I was so mad. I was like, why wouldn't you have told me that? Why did you confirm this showing? Like, I don't care if it's a vacant listing and it just doesn't matter to you. Like, that annoyed me so bad. I had to tell my clients in the driveway as we just got done seeing it, and they were excited. I'm like, they just accepted an offer.
That's so freaking rude.
I know. I was so annoyed. But yeah, so yeah, and early bird does get the worm. My clients actually won a multiple offer situation last week or the week before, and they were kind of dragging their feet during the inspection period. And even though my clients were obviously the strongest offer, they were picked, they were cash, they were all the things, they were starting to question some of the inspection things and do all these things. And my advice to them was like, you need to not rock the boat, because they have literally 8 offers behind us. If these things are important to you to ask for, great, by all means, but just know that if they're deal breakers, then they're going to be deal breakers. And if they're not deal breakers, I wouldn't ask for it. But multiple offers are still happening.
When you price correctly.
And condition. I think condition too. Like, there's this house right now.
What I always say though. Every house has a price that matches it, no matter the condition.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Oh my God. Speaking of
what?
Of bad condition, I'm gonna post this on the podcast Instagram. I think I'll give it to Kelly. This is freaking disgusting.
Give it to Molly.
Saw Molly. Who did I say?
Give it to Kelly.
What? No, well, that one is a very scary house too. But I saw a house yesterday, you guys.
Where?
In Beecher.
Okay.
It reeked. I mean, reeked like urine and feces.
Ew.
And we walked in. I could barely breathe.
I would have been like, let's go.
We were like, oh my god, and literally is so like, dog and cat. Ugh. By the way, not like human. And the basement, this is a sad thing. It's a very cute house. Very cute, like cute finishes. It's so darling. And like the basement, it's updated too. This is the disgusting thing about it. And like you look at it, it looks like somewhat clean.
Well, of course, yeah.
It's the freaking floors. Like I literally videoed and zoomed in on what I assume is cat poop on the floor in the basement. I have a video of it. And then like they had plastic over the basement window, and visually you could see like all the insects that climbed in and was like trapped in the plastic. You guys, it was freaking disgusting. Like I was like,
did you tell the agent?
I called the agent after, almost like pissed. I want to say, I was like, have you been in that house? I was like, it freaking reeks. Like it stinks so bad.
What'd they say?
Like he's like, oh no, like it played stupid. I was like, you know what, shut the don't. Yeah, he's like, I'll tell him to get it out. I'm like, to get that is that is like
that's going to reflect in your price point. Like that is 1,000%.
So my point is like, no matter the condition, there is a price for everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously the condition will affect your price, but there is a price that matches it. Yeah. Somebody will be okay with cleaning the cat piss and the poop, but at a certain price.
Right. No, 100%. Like there's actually a house right now in Manhattan that's priced really well. And from the pictures, it doesn't look like it's like...
Oh, which house?
On Elwood Road.
Oh, I don't know.
I showed it to a client. We took him back for a second showing. So we went actually the first time in the dark. And I was like,
do you know how much it is?
$269.
I feel like I should go see this. Why? Are they not buying it, or are they buying it?
No, they're not. But you'll like...
Okay, tell me. Let's hear.
It's super cute in the sense of like, decor wise, and it has a lot of potential, but we saw it in the dark. And the first thing I said before we even walked in, I'm like, if you even remotely like this a little bit, we have to come back tomorrow when it's light out. And it's like, just very like a lot of half done, unfinished projects, but then B, some foundation concerns, like the floor wasn't level.
Oh wow.
To get in one of the bedrooms, it's like a step down. I don't know if it was an addition thing. It's missing, like it's got some like if you were to look at the bottom of the cabinets against the floor, there's like a small gap that goes into a bigger gap, like a lot of unleveled things. One? Yes. And then we went and saw it in the daylight, and it was like, oh my God, the siding was warped. They don't have any gutters on the house, and there's a flat roof on the top.
What? Okay, well, no, I'm not going to have my client buy this though.
Well, I'm just saying that price point, and like that's even too high for what needs to be done. But basically, to attest to what you're saying, is like if that went up for $225, someone would probably scoop that bad boy right up. I mean, it's 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, and the bathroom was actually a decent size, and it butted up to a pretty big laundry room, so there's room for a second bath. Like there's all these things, but it needed literally everything. So
okay.
Why are you okay, so that would be for your client.
That's for the client that I was with in Beecher yesterday.
The one that you showed my other listing to?
Yes.
No, selling that one. Selling that other listing of mine you showed him.
Oh, funny. Kelly and I have yet to do a deal together, actually.
That is hilarious.
Yes. Okay, should we talk about what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, we're 14 minutes in, aren't we?
Oh my God, we better make it quick.
Okay. I know. Okay.
Well, the idea that we had for today's discussion was literally based off Kelly's recent marriage. Congrats, Kelly.
Thank you. Yeah, we just thought that was it's very common questions that come up.
I'm thinking about Molly's first client here. Yes. That she is basically driving the bus on.
Is she? I didn't realize that.
I'm driving the bus. She's my co-pilot.
Okay. Molly's first deal.
Kind of.
Love it.
And she's got a young client, boyfriend, girlfriend, they're buying a house together. And like, there's questions on how do you take title? What are the options? What do you do?
What are your risks?
What are your risks? What do you do when you get the big D, as Kelly referred to it? And I'll have you know, funny enough, my husband bought our house before we got married.
Same. Corey bought ours.
And we were just dating. And so I'm not even on title. And I asked Jason today, I was like, is that a problem? He's like,
No, he said it wasn't because you still have homestead rights.
Yeah, exactly.
So since Stephanie has been, so even though Niall, her husband, is the one in the mortgage and on title, because they've been married and living in it together, Stephanie would still have to sign off on homestead rights. So you still have a financial interest in the property. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't sound like that you're really at any crazy big risk for that.
No.
But I wonder if you guys weren't married, let's say you guys never got married and he still just bought, like, you would probably be SOL.
Okay, that's a great question. We'll ask him that. All right, should I phone him in right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think we've done this before and we know that it works okay, right? Through the mics?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, remember we called Roxy?
Oh, yeah, we did. Watch him be like, I can't. Oh, you're here.
Hello, Jason.
I am here. What's up?
It sounds so much better from the front, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the podcast, obviously.
Welcome back.
Oh my God, my cough. Quick question. We were just talking about how Niall bought the house before we were married, right? Now we're married. It'd be a marital asset, right?
Correct.
Even though I'm not on title.
Even though you're not on title, it is a marital asset because yeah.
Let's say that we never did get married and I wasn't on title, but I had lived there for like 5 years, let's say. Then is that a problem?
Well, it's Niall's house at that point.
Yeah. I figured.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
I mean, honestly, it's the advice that I give clients all the time to not buy something with a boyfriend or girlfriend, even if they're engaged, until after you're married. I mean, after you're married, then you want to put both people on, great. Then it's solidified. But if you can do it, and not everybody can. I mean, I definitely have had clients buy properties while they were engaged or dating and whatnot. And I've had some go just fine. And I've had others not go so fine where they've, broken off the engagement and a year later they're selling the property.
Oh God.
So when you say you advise,
I
when you say you advise clients to do that, sorry, I'm talking in the mic and not realizing I have to be in the phone. When you say that you're advising clients to wait until they're married, so are you meaning towards like a couple that calls you, they want to buy, but it sounds like maybe just him, maybe he's the one that's pulling out the mortgage, but he wants her to be on title. You would recommend her not be on title until they're married?
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, if it's a boyfriend and girlfriend that are
50-50
buying it together 50-50, what would you recommend that they take title as if they're both paying for it each and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, honestly, the safest way to do it until they are married is tenants in common, where they each own 50% of the house, if that's how they're doing it. If everything's 50-50 and that's how you're doing it. Now, and again, I've advised clients this, and a lot of times they're like, well, we're engaged, we'll do it as joint tenants. Now, joint tenants, something happens to one of you, the property automatically goes to the other. Doesn't go to your heirs, your parents, or wherever you might want it to go.
Okay.
Like prime example I have is I had a client who was buying with his fiance and called me up and asked me how to do all these things and what should he do. And he was the one that, it was all under him, in regards to buying the property. And I told him, you know what? I'm like, why don't you hold off? We can add her on the day after you get married. We can do a deed. We can add her on. And in all reality at that point is, she only has to live there for a day after you're married, and she already has legal rights to half of that property. She has marital rights to that property then because she lived in there as a marital residence. So at that point, yes, add her onto title, do the title as tenants by the entirety, get all the benefits of that, get the joint tenancy. Because what if, in this case, they never did get married? What if what if one of them got in a car accident and died? Then you're dealing with somebody's estate that might, you're not going to be the one in charge of that estate. It's going to probably be the parents. More than likely, it's going to be the parents, depending on how old they are, or maybe they're older and they have kids that they have an estate set up and they have other people involved. So until you say I do, I recommend, trying to keep it as clean and simple as possible.
Okay, so question on if you don't keep it clean. Let's say that same engaged couple that, let's say he didn't take your advice and he's like, I'm just going to put her on title anyways. And he was the one buying it, taking out the mortgage, but he put his fiance on title. They bought the house and a month later they end up breaking up and they never get married. So what rights does she have after just simply being on title?
Simply being on title, he can't sell that house without her signing off on the deed.
Would she have any automatic rights to the proceeds of the house?
Well, there's no automatic rights to anything, but the house can't be sold unless she signs a deed, notarizes, she has to sign the deed,
right,
notarized and all that stuff. And in those instances, what I've seen is that person's like, all right, well, you want me to sign this? I want $15,000. I want $20,000.
Oh, okay. So it's all situational. It's nothing. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing set in stone what it has to be.
I don't know if it was automatic 50-50,
No. I mean, she could say, hey, I lived here for 5 years. The entire 5 years we own this place. We never got married. I paid for half of everything. I want half of the proceeds.
Okay.
Now there are agreements that you can put into place called joint venture agreements that I've done for clients in similar situations, which spells out, all right, well, John put down, $20,000 for the down payment. Sally put down $60,000 for the down payment. So before, when this house gets sold, she gets back her 60, he gets back his 20, and then the rest of the proceeds get split 50-50.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Or maybe it's 60-40, who knows, because sometimes it depends on, maybe he or she makes more than the other one. So they're going to be covering more of the monthly payment. But in those types of agreements, you can put that all into writing. Again, either one of them could say, hey, too bad, sue me. I'm not going to follow this agreement because I don't have to. It's a contract. And the only way to enforce a contract is to take it to litigation. Now, that helps your case in litigation. And in most cases, you're going to get somebody that is going to, typically cooperate and follow those terms. That's why you put that in writing and have everybody sign it.
Stephanie's phone is beeping nonstop because she keeps on getting calls as we're on the podcast. But okay, that makes perfect sense. I actually definitely learned from that because I didn't know all of that.
Yeah, it can get really messy, and I've had to get really messy for clients before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Where it's not good, and they're fighting over who gets what and who gets how much, and it could be just as bad as a divorce. I've done agreements called separation agreements where, let's say Niall wanted to keep the house and, they broke up, and Stephanie's, they work out an agreement even though she's been paying for it and doing all whatever, and he kind of buys her out, gets her to sign off on it, gets paid at X amount of dollars, but then, if the mortgage is, it's a lot easier when the mortgage is in just one person's name, because when it's in, let's say Niall and Stephanie did buy the house together, they didn't get married, then the only real option is to refinance or sell the property to get her off of that mortgage.
Which I feel like we've had so many problems with lately because with people that are recently divorced, like if they had good interest rates.
I was just going to bring this up.
It's
Go ahead.
like, it's such a nightmare. It's so sad because they're like, God, I have to refinance and give up my like 3% for 6%, you know?
Well, it's also too, which from a client that actually, they just got divorced and he had to buy his wife out. He wanted to keep the house. They bought their house that's probably worth every bit of $650 now today in New Lenox. And I think it was 2004 for like 3 something. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, they were at an interest rate of like 2 something because they refied when everything was so low. And the way he was explaining it to me, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was like, not only is he have to refi to get her off and now he has to have today's interest rates, but in order to equally give her the payout to what they have to get their house appraised to what it would be worth today, and then she gets half of that, which is crazy because it's like now that house is worth $650 and you have to essentially like that is mind blowing to me.
Moral of the story, guys, don't get divorced. All right.
Don't get divorced for real. Because we're going to talk about that next. Which really quick, Jason, while you're here, from an attorney standpoint, is it like always a mess? Like, just say a client is going through a divorce and is trying to buy a house, but isn't completely divorced yet. Is that all like a whole new can of worms to deal with?
That is definitely a new can of worms. The lender needs to be really involved and know exactly what's going on. Because I've had cases where the lender's like, okay, we're going to run it under just, the ex-husband and everything's going to get approved by him. And we walk into closing and they're like, oh, well, they're still technically married. So we need the wife to sign off on this document stating that she has no rights or interest in this house. Which causes a big mess. So I always tell people, I'm like, look, ideally, you don't want to buy anything until the actual divorce is final. Then you can both buy whatever it is you want. Now, there are lots of instances where you can.
He just said you don't want to buy until the divorce is final.
That's what Jen said. But Jen said either when the divorce is final or but she said when it gets really hairy is when it's when one of the people has filed already, because at that point the lender can't determine your debt to income ratio. It can't determine what assets are whose. So that's where it gets. So she said if you're planning on getting divorced and you want to buy a new house, you either need to do it before you file or after the divorce is completely done.
Yeah. That's definitely the cleanest ways of doing that. 100%.
Okay. Well, let's bless this room now that I just got married and we're talking about what to do in a divorce situation.
I won't let her get divorced.
Let's
Congratulations, Kelly.
Thanks, Jason. Let's just sage this room and bless it that, But it's all things that honestly, I'm shocked we haven't done a podcast about this before because these are all very common.
Marriage,
Well, buying a house during those.
Well, and the funny thing is like I wanted to talk about marriage only today, and Kelly immediately was like, no, and divorce. I mean, I'm like,
because
what?
It's crazy how many calls I get, but and that's like, hey, I'm getting a divorce, and like, blah, and I'm like, talk to a lender and see what can be done, because I knew that in order if you weren't officially divorced yet, I know that there is a required document for them to sign off on, financial interest in the property, and a lot of times that's a whole fight. Like, oh no, he's never going to do that. He's never going to sign off on that. I'm like, well, then you're never going to buy a house unless you're divorced.
Yeah. Any other questions for Jason?
No, I think that's it. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you so much for letting us phone you.
Attorney on dial.
Love it.
Attorney on dial. See how he just picks up, you guys?
Yeah, he's the best.
This is your advertisement. All right. Have a good day.
Bye, Jason.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so very helpful.
That was super helpful.
I learned something today.
Yeah. I did too. Sorry, I was, of course, reading my 6,000 text messages.
Okay, so, we kind of did touch about it on the divorce thing, but the reason why I wanted to talk about divorce, I'm actually very happily married for a month and a day for all if you were wondering.
I know.
Stephanie. But no, the biggest reason why I wanted to talk about it is because it is not an uncommon call for me to get that, who's really usually no one's waiting until their divorce is finalized to contact a realtor or to figure out new moving situation. Usually that's one of the first things that are thought about. And one thing that I learned that I just said, but I'm going to repeat it, is you have to know, like Jennifer, shout out to Jennifer DePaoli with United Home Loans.
I was like, should I play some of this? Person saying they really have good credit. Because also we were talking about it. A common question we get is where you're going to talk about people buying and only one person going on the loan?
Yes.
Do you want me to play that really quick? Because we were talking about that. Do you want to play it?
Yeah. This is what Jen said.
Yes. Because they have really good credit, or they're the ones making
let me
all the
preface
money,
it a little
or
bit
maybe
more
the
because
other
this isn't
person
going to make
has a ton of
sense.
student loans, and we don't want to bring those numbers into the equation. So we do loans like that all the time, and it's my understanding that if someone is on title, it is just as much their house as it is the person that's on the loan.
Okay.
When I refinanced myself, my husband had just started a new job where he was a 1099, so we couldn't use his income. So we just did I just did the loan in my name, and I put him on title. And I remember asking the notary, like, what would happen if, God forbid, something happened to me? And it's, he's got this house, he's on title, but the mortgage is not in his name. The notary told me they would expect him to keep paying the mortgage or sell the house or refinance or do something. But as long as you keep paying the mortgage at that point, it's your house. You're on title.
Okay. So that was the question I asked Jennifer, because a lot of times when a couple goes to buy a home, whether you're married or not married, the lender needs to take the lowest of 2 credit scores. So just say your partner has sky high credit, maybe yours not so great. In order to get the best interest rate, they need to go with the person that has the higher credit score. So a lot of times it's very common for only one person in the marriage, in the relationship, to take out the mortgage. But in order to protect that other person who's also going to be living there and paying and whatever, they get to go on title. So my question for Jennifer was, if you're not on the mortgage and you're only on title, what is the difference there if, something were to happen or rights wise? And long story short, there is no difference. If you're on title, you're just as important.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing that we asked her too was, what to do when you're getting divorced. And we kind of touched on that with Jason as well. She basically said, you don't want to go and buy something. Cause this is the call that Kelly's talking about, is that she gets somebody that goes like, I'm in my house. I'm miserable. I need to get out. I want to go buy something. You cannot do that if you've already started the divorce process legally. You have to wait until the divorce is completely final.
Or do it before anyone even files.
Yes, because none of that is set in stone about whether people are...
Who's paying child support.
Exactly.
Assets.
Yes.
Who's getting this and who's getting that.
So the lenders can't run any of these numbers because they have none of those answers.
They have no idea what your monthly income is going to look like when the divorce is final. So that's what she said. It gets really sticky. So if that's on your radar, you guys got to do it before you file. Or you're going to have to find some temporary housing if it's that bad, to buy something once it's completely final.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it, right?
I think that's about it. Yeah, we covered.
But yeah, moral of the story: don't get divorced. It sounds like it's a headache in itself.
Be like Kelly and I.
Yeah, I am happily married at 32 days. 32 days strong. Yesterday was our 1 month.
I mean, but how long have you been together?
Oh my gosh. I mean, full length. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
like senior year is my senior year of high school.
So how many years have you?
I graduated high school in 2013. I mean, we had some hiccups in the midst, but for the most part, yeah.
I would think being that young.
But yeah, no, I met him when I was 17 technically, and I'm 30, gonna be 31. So almost half our lives.
Sorry guys.
Which is crazy.
She's officially off the market.
Yeah, almost half our lives. Wow, that's wild.
That's what I've been saying to Niall. I'm 37. I'll be 38 in January. We're on since 2009.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, we're just old pros at this point.
I just think I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to get into the whole divorce spiel and how I feel about it. We have free will. Why?
What's really funny is I was going to cover the topic today and we were like, we don't even know enough about this to be
this
giving
actually made
anybody
me laugh.
Advice. I wanted to talk about it. I was like, maybe we should talk about what are the options to handle finances while you're married? I'd love to call up on the phone.
I'd like to call up a financial advisor maybe, because that's not our wheelhouse to give people advice for.
Or maybe even a divorce attorney. What's the best way to handle finances for happiness?
It's so hard because I am, and your parents are divorced too. My parents are divorced, and I feel very strongly about this thing. So how there's always that saying, I feel and honestly it'd be the boomer generation of males who were the workers, and then there was the wife who stayed at home and raised the kids. And it's always them being like, wow, and she got half my pension and she did this and that. And like, I will say, like, you would not have, like, your wife needed to stay home to raise your babies and to take care of a household.
Started on that.
Just because there isn't like a liquid, like financial, like piece of money there for that, she deserves half your pension.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because you wouldn't have been able to have the family that you do and work the way that you did and get that pension if it weren't for her to holding down the fort at home. I might get backlash for that, but that's always what I thought when men are like, oh yeah, and then she just takes half and run. It's like, really?
I mean, I guess it's so situational, right?
Like,
is she having an affair and sitting at home, like, drinking alcohol?
Well, you know right, and like maxing out your credit card. Yes, that's one thing. But I'm talking about like your traditional, like, they got divorced because they never, you know.
I agree, because I mean, the hardest job, being a mom, like, I will tell you, the hardest job is staying home. It is emotionally taxing, physically taxing.
And you don't get a paycheck for it.
And the gratitude, like the thanks for it is not big enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anyway, that we could have gone down a very different path, but we decided.
Yeah, Stephanie wanted to be Dave Ramsey today, and when even me, I'm so glad Molly agreed with me. She's like, we should talk about how people should handle their finances when they're married. I'm like, probably not.
I mean, the options. Like, I wanted to almost like text on my girls' group text and be like my
how do you guys
college friends. Like, what, because it's a mixed bag of like stay-at-home moms, working professionals. Like, I wanted to see like, how does everybody handle it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was curious of the different solutions.
One of my friends who's a stay-at-home mom, her husband literally gives her just an allowance, and that's her money.
I mean, I don't know. Is that the right answer? Guys, I don't know.
It depends on how big the allowance is.
So if you want us to cover that topic someday,
yeah, maybe we'll pull a financial advisor on here or something, because I know I'm in no position to talk about that.
All right, this was a long one. Sorry.
All right, bye guys.
Bye. That's a wrap on Realtor Therapy with Steph and Cal.
If you loved what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media.
Got a wild real estate story or a topic idea?
Drop it anonymously in the form in our show notes. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay sane, and remember,
we're all in this together.